I wanted to start this video by saying thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers, thank you for everyone who comments, but more importantly, thank you for all of your feedback. Both positive and negative, believe it or not. I am thankful. The reason that I am thankful, even to some of the asshole comments out there, is some of it is actually true. Some of the criticisms I actually needed. So thank you. Thank you for the criticisms. Thank you for letting me know when you guys are liking something. Thank you for letting me know when you hate something. Thank you for letting me know when something needs to change. I do listen. I'm new at this. I'm not going to be perfect from the very beginning. So with that said, I do appreciate everything that you guys have to say. I try and respond to every single comment. We are getting closer to the subscriber mark for the LCP giveaway. That's exciting. For those of you who are not following me on Instagram or Facebook, I have changed it to 200 subscribers. You are currently staring at the business end of an Armalite AR-50. I would have done an unboxing, however, it didn't have a box. It came pretty much just as you see it with the manual that's sitting under it, and its original packaging was just a cardboard box. So you'll notice it is sitting on a very nice Pelican case. You may also notice this Pelican case is zip tied closed. The reason for that, and the reason I'm sitting inside and not on my motorcycle right now, or shooting on this, I'm not going to say sunny, but it is not pouring down rain in Washington. That is definitely a treat. The reason I'm sitting inside is I'm waiting for UPS to show up to take this rifle away. This rifle, not this rifle, this. Inside of this case is the Bushmaster BA-50. The Bushmaster was the biggest fail of a 50 cal I've ever seen in my entire life. I made it about 10 shots into doing the review on the BA-50 that I didn't have any usable footage. It was all just me smacking the bolt handle and fixing things that broke and putting extractors back together and trying to tear out ripped apart cases from bad head spacing. You guys are going to very quickly see why that video never came to fruition, and you're going to see why I didn't even bother posting it. Why am I running a 1:6 power on a 50 BMG? If you already asked that question, here's your answer. If you've already made the comment, you're probably about to delete it. So the reason, and the only reason I'm running a 1:6 power is I have absolutely no need for anything more than 6 power on a 50 cal. My main reason for owning a 50 and wanting a 50 is simply hard target interdiction. Now, take away the whole EOW prepper mindset of it. My honest answer to you is it's fun to break stuff. I think a lot of us want a 50 cal just simply for the fact that it's a very destructive cartridge. Quick little intermission to that thought. Just thought I would bring this out as a point of reference. This is a Savage Model 110 BA in a MDT Tech 21, I think that's right, chassis. This is a rebarreled rifle with a spur mount on it and a 30mm Vortex Viper HST HD. If I'm shooting long range, I'm shooting long range for two very specific reasons. Number one, it's a fun hobby. I enjoy putting holes in paper. This is a much, much better option for out to 2,000 plus yards. I, however, with that said, am not lobbing rounds into the hillside of Afghanistan at enemy insurgents, unfortunately. If I was, and I needed to just, get close enough, sure, 50 cal might be great. I do have other options. There we have 338 Lapua. Here we have 50 BMG. That is the XM33 ball. Another example, also 50 BMG. That is a 8-pit round, armor-piercing incendiary tracer. Both fun. I can pick these up for about $4 a piece. I can get these for about $3 a piece. Hand loading these 338 Lapua, I am no less than $5 a round. So when it comes down to it, shooting military surplus ball ammo at things out of a high-powered rifle, and yes, 338 Lapua is definitely a high-powered rifle. Do not kid yourself. If I'm shooting close range with a high-powered rifle, it's not going to be 338 Lapua. It's not cost-effective. It's not nearly as much fun. And at the same time, after I'm done shooting this, and I've wasted that round at 200 yards, I have to trim the case, I have to tumble it, I have to deprime it, I have to neck size it. It's just a big deal. When I'm done with this cartridge, it gets thrown away. I do not save military surplus brass just simply for the fact that their annealing process isn't really up to my OCD standards as far as reloading goes, but they are cool to have, and I do make random things out of 50 cal brass. So as far as long range options go, yes, I have them. And I have much better long range options, in my opinion, and yours may vary, than the 50 BMG. Yes, I understand that the ballistic coefficient of a 50 cal, especially using something, this isn't obviously it, but like the 750 grain AMAX is like 1.0 something on the BC, I believe the G7 drag scale. That cannot be beat. This one I just happen to have sitting on the same shelf that some of my display ammo, I guess you could say. It was sitting on the shelf simply for the fact that I gave the Hornady AMAX bullet a try. I absolutely hated it. I couldn't get it to group well in my ladder test, so I went back to my tried and true, and that's for those who are wondering. I really like Burger bullets. So, moving on. Very nice appearance. I really dig the free floated barrel. It is very big. But with that said, this rifle is also incredibly heavy. From my scale, this thing actually weighs more than an M82. I measured it at 37 pounds. That's a big bitch right there, to say the least. The Bushmaster BA-50, which this rifle is sitting on top of right now, is 27 pounds, and it has a detachable box magazine. With that said, not a single round from that box magazine actually fed. I tried both of them. I tried them fully loaded, I tried them half loaded, I tried just getting it to pick up one round. Did not happen. If anything else, it was more of an inconvenience having that box magazine because frankly it just did not work. First and foremost, let me say that if I'm going for accuracy, it's not going to be with the 50 cal. I understand that there are people out there who can develop these absolutely incredible loads that can run circles around the 338 Lapua. I'm not one of them. Maybe one of these days, sure. I would also like to add that if I was going for a precision rifle in 50 BMG, not saying that this one couldn't do it, but this would not be my first choice. I would probably do like a surgeon build, or go with the Desert Tech HTI, hard target interdiction. I would get a purpose built precision 50 cal. This isn't the purpose of this rifle, in my opinion. If you're spending $3,000 on a 50 cal and expecting precision rifle results, sorry, you're not gonna get there. You might get close, you might get acceptable, but it's just not gonna happen for the $3,000 price range. The other thing too is with a cheaper rifle like this, I'm not too concerned about shooting tracer. If you guys didn't already know this, the stuff in the back of the projectile as it's leaving your barrel is red phosphorus. It burns extremely hot and it's horrible for your barrel. I would never do that to an actual precision rifle. This to me is very much just break stuff kind of gun. If I can get a 2-inch group at 100 yards, I would be happy. I'm willing to bet I'm actually going to see a better group than that. With the Bushmaster BA-50, again, that this rifle is sitting on top of right now, I actually got about an inch at 100 yards with military surplus XM33, I believe this is, just standard ball ammo. I was really impressed until the gun started tearing itself apart. Okay, I'm going to try and give you guys the best view that I possibly can, and hopefully it doesn't start focusing on that bolt knob. So pushing in for take up, I feel nothing, 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 nothing. Broke. Okay, one more time. Did you see it happen? I didn't. One more time. Absolutely no take up at all. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Absolutely awesome. I'm actually going to say it's probably closer to 7 or 8 pounds. So just a little bit lighter, and this thing would definitely keep up with my 338 and the Bergera that you guys saw the video of. If you haven't, go check that out. The trigger is in fact awesome. One more time for fun. It is weird. I will give you that. The concept of the safety is very similar to the design of a Savage with an AccuTrigger, meaning that you can still pull the trigger, it'll still go click, but it won't go boom. And you have to manually cycle the bolt in order to get that firing pin reset. We have a notch right here. The weapon is currently in fire. You can see the red dot. And we have a bigger notch here. So when the trigger is pulled, that bolt can go all the way forward. Now with it in safe, pulling the trigger. So it is not actually a trigger block. It is just simply a bolt block. Now, this brought up a question for me. What would happen if I just did? You can't. I was thinking to myself, well, that's cool and everything, but what happens if I accidentally were to bump this and drop it down, and then, you know, it would have enough inertia to go back forward and discharge the cartridge? You can't. It's locked in place. You cannot move it from this position until you do that again. Now, we can put the weapon on fire. Boom. Other than the fact that the BA-50 started tearing itself apart, I would have to say one of my absolute biggest gripes with the rifle itself was that it had all of these rollers and ball bearings and other crazy stuff on the bolt yet it still was extremely clunky, was not smooth in the slightest bit. It was the furthest from smooth. As far as the action goes on this rifle, take a listen. Super smooth. Just so you guys can't say that I didn't show you, this is the bolt release right here. Again, so smooth. So we're just gonna run it back. Kablam. Big ass bolt. One of the things on the Bushmaster that I thought I loved, I could not have been more wrong about, and that was the bipod. It was heavy, it was clunky, and for one, it was proprietary. You couldn't take it off and put a different one on. When it was extended, it was fully extended. When it was collapsed, it was collapsed. There was no in between. The other thing too is to collapse it, you had to, and all of you M82 guys or M107 guys who have used them in the field know exactly what I'm talking about. If you grab a hold of the leg, it seems intuitive that you grab a hold of the leg, swing it forward, and lock it in place. It works, but it will take your skin off if you're not paying attention to where your damn hand is. So with this, that may have looked like it was spring-loaded. It's not. It just fell out fast. Full adjustability, and yes, it does the same thing on the other side. Could I ask for more from a bipod? Yeah, it could swivel, but for an included bipod that I'm actually going to keep, that's pretty incredible. So let's extend it. Just the tiniest little turn. It's enough, just with a tiny little turn, to keep it upright. During active shooting, probably not. You may actually want to tighten it down like you meant it, but it's a bipod that's actually usable. Now, how about collapsibility? Well, any further questions? That's how you do it right. And it is a solid lockup, both ways, both directions. Now the other thing, if you absolutely 100% for some ridiculous reason hate the adjustability, you hate the collapsibility and the ease of collapsibility and the firm lockup and the lack of rattle, you can break this loose. Obviously I can't do it and actually take it off because I can't hold this thing up with one hand. But this just slides off, and this is just a pick rail under here. So you can change it out to your bipod of choice. I'm sticking with this one. I would expect to pay, I don't know, $300–400 for a bipod like that. Maybe actually even more. But awesome, awesome bipod. So it may have looked like in any of this that the actions are spring-loaded. It's just falling under its own weight. This is heavy-duty steel, so it isn't actually springing itself back. These aren't actually shooting out under spring. It's just under its own weight. These arms, however, those are spring-loaded. See? I really only have 3 gripes with this rifle. Number 1, the manual. Where it fails is also what makes it kind of cool. It is like stapled together, looks like it came out of your drill sergeant's trunk, just as basic as humanly possible. But at the same time, it gives you all the information you need to know. It has that puce, and yes, in case you're wondering, this is what puce is. It has that militaristic puce color to it. It's got coffee stains on it, but it tells you everything you need to know. It's got an exploded diagram in there. It's got a parts list of stuff that you can order that you broke. If you broke something, I would be impressed. My second gripe is the fact that, see this? It's a really nice Pelican case. It came in a cardboard box. The whole rifle came in a cardboard box. So I have to go find a case that's long enough to fit this damn thing. I don't know how hard that's gonna be, but at the same time, it would have been cool even if they included just a basic Plano case. But in contrast, the rifle is so heavy, I don't think a normal case would have held up to its weight anyways. I get the feeling that Armalite was thinking more of, hey, let's get the general public a great rifle at a very, very competitive cost, and it's competing with the cost of 50 cal uppers. And they can figure out their own case. So I'm okay with that. I could see this rifle being $500 more if they included a case and some other stuff. My third and final gripe is this rail is ridiculously tall. A lot of guys on the forums were also asking if it was supposed to be that way, if there was something they could do to make it shorter, etc., etc. And there was a lot of speculation as to why it was so tall. And one of those was, and I'm hoping it wasn't a speculation made by an actual owner, because, well, here's why. Some people were thinking that it was to protect your optic from brass. Well, let me zoom in. This is the top of the receiver. It's solid here. So the rail isn't actually bridging two parts of the receiver like a Remington 700, for example. The cut for the opening of the receiver is just right here. This is metal from here up and all the way around to the other side. So the only opening is here. So no, it has nothing to do with protecting your optics from brass. Again, that was speculation of a lot of people, not just one person. They wanted to have a cheek riser, obviously. So look where the bolt goes. It goes under the cheek riser. In order for that cheek riser to be there, it has to be high, just simply for the design of the bolt. And if you're going to have your cheek weld, it should probably line up with your glass. And for me, it does. And that's great. But the one part about that that's stupid, but look at the shoulder pad. Breaking out my flashlight. So it can go down more, but it can't go up more. When you have your cheek weld all lined up, the stock isn't really so much in the crease or the crux of your shoulder. It's more like on your fourth and fifth rib. It just doesn't feel like it's in a familiar spot. Those are my 3 gripes, and the only 3 gripes. If you guys have any more questions about this rifle, or if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. If there's anything more I can answer for you, you know, hopefully by now, that I'm always usually pretty quick to respond to any questions that I can answer. If I can't answer them, however, I will do my best to direct you to somebody who could answer it for you. So, final summary. I definitely think this is the absolute best option after having owned all of them for getting into an entry-level 50 cal for under $10,000. If you guys are going for rock solid precision, you're kind of on your own and you are going to spend a lot of money doing so. If you want my personal opinion, if you want my advice on something as a precision rifle for a 50 cal, I would say forego the 50 cal and get one of those. The Nerf Mega Blaster, not the 338. See you guys. This is probably a good place to start this review. There are 39 rounds on the ground. On the left-hand side are cases that did not split. On the right-hand side, cases that did split. This is M33 ball. This is new manufacture, M33 ball. This is not milsurp. Well, it is, but you know, it's not like from Vietnam. And here we have our bolt. You notice this pin here is ultra shiny. So in that hole should be a spring and a cotter pin. Well, here's one side of that cotter pin. The rest of it got sheared off. That spring would have held this under pressure. And that pin would go across the cutout section of this to hold it in, and then the spring would sit behind it. So what I mean by the cases splitting, right there is a split. Some of you guys are going to say, oh, that's not bad. And what do you have to say about this one? Pretty bad. Yeah, you can see straight through it. These are not hand loads. I've never had this happen before. That's bad, guys. That's not good. You don't want a 50 cal doing that to you. That means that there's something wrong. This one's impressive. I mean, if something's gonna fuck up, it might as well do it with glory, right? There's that split, smaller. This is very similar to a Barrett. You push in, swing down, push in, swing down. Cool, is it?
Oh no, I know who you are, you're good to go.
Okay.
We are hot right now.
Okay. Where do you want me?
Anywhere you want. 12's fine.
I try and be nice when I'm shooting the 50 cal.
Do you have a thing on your... Okay.
I sure do. Multi-pass.
Oh, that's your 50 in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was your Lapua you left on the other bench.
Oh God, no. No.
Well, yeah, go ahead and set up. Luke won't care.
Okay. The hell did I do?
You want to need a flashlight or?
There we go. We're good. Oh yeah. Every single round I've shot, I'm splitting all of my case mounts.
But the eyepiece on it is like, I mean,